Hello everyone, welcome to Web Development for Graphic Communications. The purpose of this class is to teach students how to develop and design basic websites for professional context. I will be going over the syllabus later on in this video, but first I wanted to give a brief kind of intro of myself and also kind of clear up any confusion about my name. So you may see it spelled as K-A-I or as K-A-Y, and both are correct, but I just go by K-A-Y version of my name, so you can just call me K. And I want to let you know that I live in town, but I grew up in Texas. And then I went to school, did my undergrad at UT Austin, Hook 'em Horn. And I got my BFA in visual communications. After that, I worked in print design as an art director for a magazine in Chicago for about 5 years. After that, and after having kids and traveling overseas, really did freelance graphic design work and now teach mainly print design in the GATE department. I want to show you a brief video clip that I took over the last semester. It's an app I use called 1 Second a Day, and so it's just 1 second of mostly every day in my life over this semester.
We're stuck at the
Teach through the graphic
left
website that comes.
That looks like
each in.
And the senior web design.
So just kind of use it according to Susan.
Eli.
Getting over a
Probably.
oven rack trick.
what about the
Shaking.
Shing.
So that 1 second a day video was actually recorded during my spring semester of 2017. And here we are in 2018, and I'm really excited to start the new year off with you in this Web Development for Graphic Communications class. And I want to start off with just kind of explaining the title of the course, because I don't want anyone to be misled. It is a web development for graphic communication. So we're really focusing on the graphics communication part. And this course is part of the GATE program, Graphic Arts and Imaging Technology. And I teach a document design class as well, which some of you may have taken or will take. And so really my background is really feeding off of that from a graphic design layout standpoint. And so I'm going to bring that into this web class. So again, I just want to emphasize this is not a coding class. It's not a computer science class. And we're really going to focus more on the graphic design part of the web development and really using the Adobe Creative Cloud programs, essentially Dreamweaver, to build our websites, and where we will learn a little bit of coding with HTML in Dreamweaver. And then we're also going to start off with Adobe Muse, which is really a program where you can just focus on the design and layout and not have to know any coding for web design. And then we also will be using some Photoshop. Hopefully most of you are familiar with Photoshop. And if you're not, I've got some textbook resources that you can go to if you would like additional help. Those are not required. So there's a Muse book, there's a book that includes some Photoshop tutorials, and then there's also a book about more HTML and web with a little more coding and stuff that are optional. These are all on the syllabus. The only required textbook is the Against the Clock Dreamweaver 2018 textbook. So again, that's all on the syllabus, and I'll talk more about that. I am on campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays this semester. I have a class at Harper Hall from 12:30 to 2:20, so I'm usually there a little bit before and after class, although I try to be home in the afternoons by 3 o'clock. All that to say, if you would like to schedule a meeting with me, there is a weekly schedule posted on our course page, and we'll go to that course page in a minute so you can look at and see where everything is. But I am always available if you need to meet with me on campus, or if you want to schedule a video conference. If I'm not on campus, I can meet with you that way, either through Google Hangout or via Zoom. And we can talk more about you can just fill out your name on my schedule and let me know when you've done that, so that I'll be sure to check it and send you an invite to a video meeting or meet you on campus. I should have an office at Harper Hall. I was in room 135 last semester, and I'm trying to square up an office space this semester. So because I'm an adjunct instructor, I'm not a full-time professor, so my office hours are not required for me, but I want to have that space and that time for you, so that if you have any questions or need help, that I can meet with you. So I just want to say I am available to you, and I use my own time to do that. And like you, I am also an online student, and I'm working on my master's in educational media at App State. So that keeps me busy as well. So I can understand the challenges and the advantages of being an online student. And for many of you, this may be your first online class that you're taking. So I want to kind of talk about that a little bit and use some slides to kind of point out what is an online class about and what is it not. So there may be some misconceptions out there. Being an online student does have its challenges. You really have to manage yourself and your own time. This class is asynchronous, which means that there's no set time or classroom, so there's no attendance, but there are deadlines, and you have to manage yourself to keep up with all the lectures and videos and assignments on your own and get them in on time. So just because it's online doesn't mean you can turn in assignments whenever you want. There are still due dates. And it doesn't mean that it's easier. It doesn't mean you don't have to participate or interact with the instructor or with your classmates. And it doesn't mean that your instructor is distant and unavailable. So I'm pretty quick to answer any emails, but just give me like a 24-hour grace period in case I'm out of town or out and about or doing something. So just want to give you a heads up on that. So I do think that some of the advantages of being online is that you can be self-paced. You don't have to check in at the same time every week. You can do the lessons when you're able to, and then make sure you get them in on time though. We're going to go ahead and go over to As You Learn. Now I'm going to open that up so we can take a look at the course from there. Here I am on our course page, and pretty much all the course delivery is going to be on our As You Learn course page. So make sure that you check this page frequently, and I will send out emails via the announcements. I may also try a new app to me called Remind, that I will send you a link to through the announcements if you want to get reminders for the course through that. And I'll send, and that you'll receive that through your email for the course too. Zoom video will be accessed here. So once I set up a date for a Zoom video meeting, then you can click on the link here to join it. And I will try to remember to record our sessions. Sometimes I forget to do that. But these are completely optional because we have a large class size. It's just really difficult to find a time that works for the majority of the class. So what I'm going to do is have you fill out the survey, and that you will be graded on the survey that's in Module 1. So if you scroll down, look at Module 1, and then you will always click on where it says Start Here, and that will give you the video deliveries for the course and further information. Go back to the overview page here, and then you'll see that there is an initial survey here under Module 1. You just click on Answer the Questions. And some of the questions you will answer are going to be related to video meetings and when is a good time and date for you to meet. And then after I look at that, I will schedule some Zoom meetings, maybe like bi-weekly, or we'll just kind of see how it goes for those of you who need some help that way. And it really just helps to see some of you face-to-face too. So you may see me face-to-face in my videos, but I don't get to see you, so I enjoy seeing your faces. So I'll talk more about that when I do put that on the calendar, the actual Zoom meeting. Google Hangout is another way we can meet by video, and that seems to work better for individual meetings. So if you just have a question or I just need to meet with you, I can send you an invite to Google Hangout. The Zoom meetings seem to work well for the class. We have multiple viewers. All right, so also on the top of our page, we have a link to final project website samples, and so this is just some examples from previous student work that you can look at the spring semester and then the fall semester, and you can see these are our final projects that will be due in ePortfolio, a professional site, that's a group project, and then a responsive site or mobile site. So if you click on any of these, you can look at the student example, and that might kind of help you to know what's expected of the course. Then there's our Google Plus community, and this is a kind of online forum where you can look at what other students are saying. You can share resources. You can read about this community here, and this is really required. I want you all to participate in this, and this is really helpful for me, especially when you work on the group projects. What I'll do is once we get to that point, I will add your group names onto this forum, and then you can communicate with your group on this community, and the entire class can read in your posts, and that may help other groups and kind of inspire some other groups, and it helps me to keep track of what all the groups are doing, and so I make sure that you're all communicating with one another too. So I've also got these resources. I have the Happy Clouds resources, and I should share that I have a design muse for each semester. So this semester is Bob Ross. If you're not familiar with who Bob Ross is, you can look at these videos here, and you can also Google him. And so for Happy Clouds, you can share any helpful resources, post anything pertaining to this class or design or web in general. And then for Not So Happy Clouds, that's for if you need help. So if you've got a question or you're stuck somewhere, you can post your question or issue in the Not So Happy Clouds forum in our Google Plus community. So I'll be talking more about this community, but make sure you check in and you add in join, just click on join so that you're in this community, because we'll be using it throughout the semester. You can click on the course syllabus. So I have this embedded as a PDF. You can also click to download it or print it, and you really need to read over this on your own, save it onto your desktop or your phone, or print it out, whatever is easiest for you. And then you can read our required textbook and then the optional textbook. So you do not need to purchase the optional books, but you do need the required Dreamweaver textbook. And I really recommend that you just purchase the hard copy from the bookstore. Students in the past have really found it difficult with the ebook version because you're having to navigate working on the computer and looking at the document on the same screen. So unless you have a tablet or e-reader, I think it's going to make your life a lot easier if you just get the hard copy book. So if you've got any questions about that, just let me know. Here's the Against the Clock website. You can click on this. It's linked there. And after you purchase the book, there is a code in the book that you'll need to use to go to the website and register the book, because with the purchase of the book, there are also graphic files that you will need to complete the homework assignments. So you make sure that you go to the website and register your book. And there's a document on our course page, which I'll go to, that you can see for instructions on how to do that. We will be using, again, Dreamweaver, Muse, and Photoshop in this class, the CC 2018 versions. And I think there's not too much difference in the 2017 version if you're still using that. You can read through the course description and our course objectives and our course structure. So the course is structured into 9 modules, and the last module is the final projects. And I will go over that more later in this video as well. I will deliver all the videos by Tuesday before 5 o'clock. So all the videos are up and running on the course page right now, but some of them are not updated, so there's some new tutorials that I need to do the videos for that I haven't created yet and recorded yet. So just be aware that if I've got in parentheses in the text updated video to come, that there may be some discrepancy in the video that's up right now, and I will update them before 5 o'clock on Tuesday when a new module opens up. All assignments are required are due on the following Tuesday by 11 p.m. Some modules have more than 1 week, so you may have 2 weeks. So just look at the course schedule on that, but you need to turn it in by 11 p.m. on the due date. You also will need to have Adobe Acrobat, and I don't have that, and I probably should add it here under the software platform, but you will need Adobe Acrobat to edit the quizzes, and I will again show you how to do that if you've never done that before. So you will need to open it up as a PDF document, then edit, add text, and then resubmit it as a PDF. You will also need to participate in discussions and critiques on our As You Learn page in the discussion forums. Late work will only be accepted up to 10 days, so you'll receive a deduction for each day that it's late. So you can look at half a point will be deducted for homework, and then 0.2 point for quizzes. And then after 10 days, you will not be able to submit. If you do submit late work, make sure that you use the late work submission area, and I'll show you that too. So here's the grading breakdown for a point scale. And then the last page of the syllabus is really important, so make sure you print this out or you download it. This is our schedule. So for each module, week 1, I've got what is going to be delivered. There's introduction video, a Muse interface video, and then what needs to be turned in. So you will need to turn in a survey, you will participate in a discussion forum, and then you need to purchase your textbook and register for a web host by February 27th. So you have access to a free service through ASU web host, and if you've already used that, you will need to use a subdirectory, which I'll talk about later. If you choose to use another web host, you'll need to pay for a subscription, and you will probably need to use an FTP, file transfer protocol. But that is not required. You can use that ASU web host for free. That's available to all students. So let's go back to the overview of our course page here. Here's that PDF file for instructions on how to register your book and download your graphic files. So make sure that you read over that. And then there's also a web publishing document that you'll need to download, and that explains how to upload your files and connect to the ASU server. If you want to use Udesk, and I don't necessarily recommend that, but if you don't have the programs for the Adobe Creative Cloud and you don't have access to it, you can use Udesk for free, and you can click here to access that. I do recommend that you just purchase Dreamweaver and through the Adobe Creative Cloud. You can get a student discount, but you can use all the software at the ASU library for free. Just make sure you save all your files on your thumb drive or Google Drive and not on the computers at the library, because you may not know if they'll still be there when you get back. There's lynda.com tutorials, W3 schools, and Code Academy. Lynda.com is a paid service, so just keep in mind if you want to use that, you will have to pay for a subscription. W3 schools and Code Academy you can join for free, and you can look up specific tutorials on those websites. Here's my weekly schedule for appointments, and I'll try to update this throughout the semester. But right now, I've just got my class schedule. So you can see that I have a class at Harper Hall on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then I'm available for office hours after that class. And I'll try to get there early too, so that I can meet you before class as well. And then you can sign up in all these other areas if you would like to meet with me, and just write in if you want to meet with me at Harper Hall or via video. And the blackout spaces are times that I'm not available. So again, I'll try to update that as we go along. Here is the late assignment submission area. So anytime you turn in an assignment after the due date, submit it here, and then just send me a quick note and let me know that you submitted it late so that I don't miss it. And then here's an extra credit for any of you who are photographers. I usually have a lot of commercial photography majors in the course, so you can look at that if you want to participate in that for 1 point extra credit. And then you can look at each module. Remember to click on Start Here, and then click on the hyperlinks. It'll do all of the modules in order, and there's specific directions on what to do in each module, and I'll try to go over each module and introduce in a new video. And then the last module, you have 3 weeks to complete your final projects. You have your e-portfolio, your professional site, and then the responsive site, and they're all due within a week of each other. And then also, let me go to back to one of these modules so you can see kind of the format. You've got the videos. Anytime if you cannot see the embedded videos, please send me an email and I can send you a link to those videos on YouTube. And most of these videos are on YouTube, and if you ever, if the videos are blurry, then try to refresh by just clicking on the refresh button, or just go directly to YouTube and view them there, and sometimes it's clearer there than on As You Learn. If you scroll all the way down in each module page, you'll see a food for thought section, and those images are pork belly buns that I had in New York, and that is just kind of to get you thinking about how to apply the skills that you learn in each module to your final projects. So once you see that food for thought image, that's going to give you some ideas that doesn't need to be turned in but you need to read that and just start thinking about, how am I applying this for my final site? So everything that we do in each module is really to work towards that, to building up your final project site. So you don't have to wait till the very end, 3 weeks, to build all those sites, but you can get started by sketching out your ideas throughout the semester. Some other kind of quick tips, if most of you are familiar enough with As You Learn, but you can also click on the section links for each module. So if you want to go to section 5, you can or module 5, just click on that section link on the sidebar here, and then you can also click them on the left sidebar. You can go to the modules that way. So I kind of like to use the section links. Sometimes it's an easier way to get through to get to each module without having to scroll down. We're going to really kind of get started into building our sites in module 4 when we start off with Dreamweaver. So you've got some time before we start doing that. We're going to start off with Muse, start off with images, working with Photoshop, and then our web project management in our first module. For the final projects, just a heads up that you will need to upload one final project to the server, to the web host, so that it is a live website. The other 2 final sites, you will have the option of submitting them as files for me to review in Muse or Dreamweaver, but one of those final sites does need to be designed and created in Dreamweaver, and it needs to be uploaded to the server. So we'll talk more about that as we get closer to that point. And remember, the professional site you'll be working with a partner or partners in. And if you choose to upload all 3 sites to the server using Dreamweaver, then you will get 1 point extra credit for each site that you upload. I most likely won't be able to answer all of your questions. You can share things that would be helpful for your peers in that Google Plus community. And so that's why I want you to post any questions in there first. And then if you don't see a response, you then do feel free to email me. And I almost forgot to show you our mascot. So here he is, Bob Ross himself. Maybe it'll lighten up the subject matter a little bit in our class. And I look forward to getting started with you in this class.